Your mind feels like a prison, a relentless, looping track of worst-case scenarios, past regrets, and future fears. It's the 3 a.m. conversation you replay in your head. It's the comment from 3 weeks ago that still stings. It's the mountain of what-ifs that paralyzes you before you even begin. You live inside this structure of noise, and it is exhausting. You've been told to just stop thinking. You've been told to be positive, to just be present. This is like telling a prisoner sitting in a locked cell to just walk out. It's insulting, it's impossible, and it ignores the reality of the walls. But what if that prison wasn't made of steel bars, but of paper? What if the walls, the locks, and the guards weren't even real? What if you are trapped simply because no one ever handed you the blueprint? This is the central, misunderstood truth. Overthinking isn't a flaw in your character. It is not a sign of weakness or a personal failure. It is a mechanism, a complex, ancient, and predictable mechanism running on a loop. And in the next few minutes, we are going to hand you the full schematic. We are going to show you how to read it, how to understand it, and how to find the release. Before you can dismantle the prison, you must understand what it's built on. Your prison wasn't built by you. It wasn't built by your parents, or your society, or your job. It was built by evolution. Deep in your brain, in the most ancient, primal region, is a survival mechanism. We will call it by its true function, the primal alarm. Its only job, the one thing it has perfected over 200,000 years, is to scan your environment for threats. It is the security guard that never sleeps. It never takes a coffee break. It is always at its post. 200,000 years ago, this mechanism was your greatest asset. It was the jolt of panic that made you look up when a twig snapped in the dark. It was the rush of adrenaline that helped you outrun a predator. It was the sudden, gut-wrenching aversion to the taste of spoiled food that saved you from poison. The primal alarm is a master of one thing: pattern recognition. It sees a shadow, it screams tiger. It smells smoke, it screams fire. It tastes bitterness, it screams poison. And it operates on a simple, brutal logic. It is better to be wrong 1,000 times and see a tiger that isn't there than to be wrong once and miss the tiger that is. This is the negativity bias. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. Happiness is a luxury. Survival is a requirement. So, your brain is coated in biological Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. You remember the one insult from the night, not the 10 compliments. But here is the problem. The primal alarm is ancient. It hasn't changed its instructions in 200,000 years. It is now living in a world it doesn't understand. Today, it scans for different predators. An unanswered message. A sharp rebuke from one in authority. The calling in of a debt. A summons to appear before the council. Your brain. Your ancient, powerful, survival-oriented brain treats a social rejection with the same chemical panic as a physical attack. That unanswered message to your primal alarm, that's not just a simple note. That is a sign of banishment. That is the tribe leaving you behind to die. That sharp rebuke from one in authority, that is the alpha of the pack challenging you. It's a threat to your status, your resources, your very survival. Your primal alarm floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart hammers, your thoughts race. It is preparing you to fight or to run. But you are just sitting at your desk. You can't fight authority. You can't run from a debt. So that massive, powerful survival energy has nowhere to go. It just circles and circles and circles inside your mind. This is the feeling of anxiety. Overthinking is not a conscious choice. It is a primal reflex. It is your body's ancient alarm system screaming, danger. in a world where the dangers are no longer visible. This is the first loop, the threat scan. It's always on. It's always searching. And it cannot tell the difference between a real danger and an imagined one. It has flagged thousands of things in your life as potential tigers, public speaking, meeting new people, that one difficult relative, the very idea of failure. This foundation is solid. It is powerful, and you cannot turn it off. To try and stop this alarm is to try and stop your own heart from beating. It will not work. So, you can't destroy the foundation, but you are not trapped by the alarm. You are trapped by what you build on top of it. The Primal Alarm has done its job. It has detected a potential threat, an ambiguous message, an unanswered text, a strange look from a stranger, and it has flooded your body with a raw, nameless feeling of anxiety. This is critical. The Primal Alarm is pre-verbal. It does not speak in sentences. It speaks in sensations. A knot in your stomach, a tightness in your chest, a cold rush in your hands. This raw, physical panic makes another part of your brain deeply, profoundly uncomfortable. This is the architect. If the Primal Alarm is the body's ancient god, the architect is the mind's modern narrator. It's the part of you that identifies as I. It is your conscious, logical, storytelling mind. And the architect has one single driving purpose: to make sense of the world. It hates an unsolved mystery. It despises a feeling without a cause. A nameless anxiety is a vacuum, and the architect will rush to fill it with a story. It receives the panic signal from the Primal Alarm, and it immediately opens a case file. Its first question: why? Why am I feeling this panic? To answer this, it doesn't look outward. It looks inward. It opens the vast, sprawling archives of your memory. This is the architect's fatal flaw. It doesn't search for the truth. It searches for evidence that matches the feeling. The feeling is panic. So, the architect ignores all memories of success, comfort, and safety. It instantly consults every record you have labeled: rejection, failure, embarrassment, and pain. It finds that time in 7th grade you were laughed at. It finds that relationship that did end badly. It finds that project at work that did fail. These memories are its raw materials, its bricks and mortar. Now, it begins to build. Let's return to the unanswered text. The Primal Alarm sends the danger signal. The architect opens its records. It pulls the memory of that friend who did ghost you last year. It pulls the memory of that time you did say the wrong thing at a party. With this evidence in hand, it begins to write the story. The feeling is panic. The evidence from my past is rejection. Therefore, this unanswered text must also be rejection. But it doesn't stop there. The architect is a master storyteller. It uses a set of powerful cognitive tools to make this story absolutely convincing. The first tool, mind reading. The architect pretends it has the supernatural ability to know the exact thoughts and intentions of other people. It doesn't say, they might be busy. It states, with absolute certainty, I know they're angry with me. I know they think I'm annoying. I know I said something wrong. It presents this pure, baseless speculation as fact. The second, more powerful tool, fortune-telling, also known as catastrophizing. The architect takes its mind-reading fact and projects it into the most terrifying future possible. It writes the rest of the script, and it's always a tragedy. If they are angry with me, then they will tell our other friends. If our friends find out, they will also think I'm annoying. If they abandon me, I will be isolated. I will end up completely alone. Do you see the mechanism? In less than 10 seconds, the architect has built a high-stakes, terrifying, and logical-sounding prison. It started with a simple, unanswered text, and it has constructed a future of total social isolation. This story is now a new thought, a vivid, detailed, and terrifying mental image. And here is the most vicious part of the entire blueprint. Your primal alarm. The ancient guard cannot tell the difference. It cannot distinguish between the external trigger, the unanswered text, and the internal trigger, the architect's story about being alone forever. To the primal alarm, a thought is as real as a tiger. So, when it hears the architect's story of, "I will be alone forever," it does its job. It refires the alarm. But this time, it's not a small, cautionary jolt. It's a full-blown 5-alarm panic. The architect, now feeling this new wave of intense panic, looks down at its own story and says, "See, I was right. It is a catastrophe. If it weren't, I wouldn't feel this terrified." This is the overthinking loop. The feeling creates the story. The story validates the feeling. The feeling strengthens the story. The alarm rings. The architect builds a wall. The wall scares the guard. The guard rings the alarm louder. The architect adds another wall. The prison builds itself. The loop is spinning. The feeling creates the story, and the story creates the feeling. But the architect is not satisfied. The story feels external. They are angry at me. I will be alone. To make the loop truly inescapable, the architect must make it personal. It uses its third powerful tool, personalization. This is the gravitational pull of the ego. It is the belief that you are the center of the universe, not in a narcissistic way, but in a causal one. Personalization is the assumption that everything that happens around you is because of you. Your superior is in a bad mood. The architect doesn't say, "Maybe they slept poorly." It says, "It's because of the report I submitted." Someone walks by you without saying hello. The architect says, "I must have done something to offend them." It rains on the day of your outdoor gathering. The architect whispers, "Of course, this would happen to me." Personalization takes the random, chaotic events of the world and forges a direct, causal link from them to you. It makes you the secret protagonist in everyone else's story. When combined with the overthinking loop, this is devastating. The architect's story, "They are angry at me." Mind reading becomes, "They are angry at me because I am annoying." Personalizing. The story, "I'm going to fail this presentation." Fortune-telling becomes, "I'm going to fail this presentation because I am not smart enough." Personalization. This leads to the architect's final, most powerful, and most permanent tool, labeling. This is the endgame. The architect is tired of relitigating the case every time. It wants a final verdict. It wants to close the file. So, it takes the action and turns it into an identity. It stops saying, "I failed at that task." It starts saying, "I am a failure." It stops saying, "I feel anxious in social situations." It starts saying, "I am socially anxious." It stops saying, "I made a mistake." It starts saying, "I am an idiot." These labels are the prison's nameplate. They are hung on the cell door. And once you accept a label, the game is over. Why? Because your identity dictates your future. If you are a socially anxious person, you will not go to the party. If you are a failure, you will not apply for the new job. If you are unlovable, you will sabotage the new relationship. The architect has now built the perfect prison. Because you believe you are the prison, you have merged with the blueprint. The primal alarm rings, and you say, "Of course I'm panicking. I'm an anxious person." The label justifies the feeling. The feeling proves the label. This is the loop, perfected, solidified, turned to stone. It is a self-sustaining system of identity that began minutes, hours, or even years ago. With a single, simple, unanswered text, we have now mapped the entire prison. The primal threat scan that rings the alarm. The logical architect that builds the story. The cognitive tools of mind reading, fortune-telling, personalization, and labeling that make the walls unbreachable. They are a perfect, automated, self-sustaining loop. And this is the moment where most self-help fails. You are told to fight this loop. You are told to argue with the architect. You are told to use positive affirmations. You are told to stop being so negative. You are told to reframe your thoughts. This is the worst advice possible. Why? Because you are trying to use the architect to fight the architect. You are trying to build a positive story to fight the negative one. But you are still in the prison. You are just redecorating your cell. You are engaging the machine on its own terms. The architect loves this. A fight is still engagement. A fight is still energy. The loop continues. You cannot fight this loop. You cannot outthink this loop. You cannot argue your way to peace. So, what is the answer? Look closely at the blueprint. We have missed a component. We have missed the most important part. It's the part of you that has been here this entire time. The part of you that read this blueprint. The part of you that listened to this entire script. It is the part of you that is aware that you are overthinking. We call it the observer. This is the secret. This is the key. This is the release. You are not your thoughts. You are not the primal alarm. You are the one who hears the alarm. You are not the architect. You are the one who listens to the story. The architect is the voice in your head. The observer is the awareness of the voice. This is not a metaphor. This is a fundamental distinction. For your entire life, you have been identified with the prison. You believed you were the architect. When the thought, "I am a failure," appeared, you believed it was a statement of fact, spoken by you. It was not. It was a piece of automated, conditioned, defensive machinery, reciting a conditioned response. The primal alarm is an it. The architect is an it. They are mechanisms within you. The observer is you. This single shift in identity is the beginning of your liberation. You are not the prisoner. You are not even the prison. You are the silent, spacious awareness in which the prison appears. From this new perspective, the entire blueprint changes. It is no longer a terrifying, all-encompassing reality. It's just noise. It's a biological machine doing what it was designed to do. Scan for threats and build stories. That's all. You stop the loop not by building a better prison, but by realizing you were never inside it. You were standing outside, in the quiet, watching it all happen the entire time. You are the observer. You are the awareness of the thoughts. This is a wonderful idea, but in a moment of panic, it feels impossible. When the primal alarm is screaming, you are in danger, and the architect is showing you vivid movies of your own failure. How do you practically just watch? This is not a passive act. It is an active, courageous, and learnable skill. We will build this skill right now using 3 practical techniques. Acknowledge and label. When the loop begins, you must be the one to notice it. Your heart rate quickens. Your stomach drops. The architect immediately begins its story. This is a disaster. It's all going to fall apart. It's my fault. You, as the observer, simply step back and place a label on it. Not on yourself, but on the process. You say to yourself, internally, there is the primal alarm. I feel it in my chest. And there is the architect. It is building a failure story. You are not the story. You are the librarian, cataloging the book that just appeared on your desk. This simple act of labeling does 2 profound things. It interrupts the automatic identification. You have separated yourself from the thought. It validates the feeling without believing the story. You are acknowledging the alarm. I hear you. Without agreeing with its conclusion. You are right. This is a tiger. Do not engage. Do not judge. Do not participate. Just label. The architect is mind reading right now. The architect is fortune telling again. The architect just used the failure label. This is the first step. You are no longer the prisoner. You are the scientist, observing the machine. Anchor to the physical. The architect is a master of illusion. Its stories are about the past, regret, or the future, anxiety. It hates the present moment, because in the present moment, its stories cannot survive. The primal alarm is also an illusionist. It creates a physical feeling, and the architect convinces you that the feeling is the problem. I have to get rid of this anxiety. I can't stand this tightness in my chest. This is a trap. This is more fighting. The observer has a powerful tool to escape this. The anchor. Your anchor is your physical body, right now, in this second. When the loop is spinning, bring your full, undivided attention, your observer, to a neutral, physical sensation. Feel the physical pressure of your feet on the floor. Feel the texture of the clothes on your skin. Feel the temperature of the air as it enters your nostrils. These things are not stories. They are not past or future. They are real, and they are true, right now. Your anchor is your link to reality. The architect cannot compete with reality. The anxiety will still be there. The tightness in your chest will still be there. But you are not in it. You have shifted your focus. You are anchored to the floor, while the storm of thought and feeling rages over there. You are not trying to stop the storm. You are anchoring yourself outside of it. Non-engagement. This is the release. The architect's entire prison is built on one resource: your belief, your participation. The architect needs you to grab onto its stories, argue with them, fight them, or believe them. It doesn't care which. It just needs your energy. Non-engagement is the practice of letting the thoughts go. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. The river is your mind. The thoughts, the stories, the labels, the fears are just sticks and leaves floating by. A thought appears. You're not good enough. The old identified self, the prisoner, would have leaped into the river, grabbed that stick, held it, studied it, and drowned, trying to figure out where it came from. The observer just watches it. It sees the thought. You're not good enough. It acknowledges it. A not good enough thought. It does not fight it. It does not believe it. It does not try to push the thought away. It just watches it float and float and eventually drift downstream. Another thought appears. They are definitely angry at you. The observer acknowledges it. A mind-reading thought. And it lets that one float by too. This is the ultimate liberation. You are not trying to clear your mind. That is impossible. You are not trying to stop your thoughts. That is a battle you will always lose. You are simply changing your relationship to your thoughts. You are letting the primal alarm ring and doing nothing. You are letting the architect build its stories and doing nothing. And what happens when you do this? The architect runs out of fuel. It is building stories in a vacuum, and no one is listening. The primal alarm rings and gets no feedback. The panic has no story to validate it. The loop breaks. The prison walls, which were only ever made of believed thoughts, dissolve. There is no prison. There is no prisoner. There is only you, the observer, sitting on the riverbank in peace. This, then, is the complete blueprint of your mind for your entire life. You have been living inside this machine, unaware of its design, a ghost trapped in the gears. You felt the effects of the primal alarm, the anxiety, and you heard the voice of the architect, the inner critic, and you mistook this noise for yourself. This was the illusion. This was the prison. But today, you have stepped outside. You have become the engineer. You have the full schematic in your hands. The primal alarm is your evolutionary inheritance. It is the part of your brain that is deeply ingrained to scan for danger. It is not your enemy. It is your ancient, loyal, and deeply unintelligent bodyguard. It screams danger at social rejection, financial stress, and future uncertainty, just as it once screamed at a tiger in the grass. You cannot turn it off. You cannot reason with it, and you no longer need to. Your only job is to hear it, to feel the tightness in your chest and say, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I hear the alarm." And the architect is your logical, sense-making mind, the part of you that identifies as I. Its job is to build a narrative to explain the alarm's raw panic. It is a master of illusion, using its powerful tools to construct a prison of thought. It uses mind reading to invent the thoughts of others. It uses fortune telling to script a catastrophic future. It uses personalization to make you the center of every problem. And it uses labeling to turn a simple action into a permanent, painful identity. The architect is the source of the looping, incessant, exhausting voice in your head. It is the inner critic, the doubter, and the judge, and you cannot fight it. To argue with the architect is to give it power. To think positively is just asking it to build a different kind of cell. Your only job is to listen to it, to hear the story, "I am a failure," and to recognize it. The architect is telling a failure story again. The observer is who you truly are. The observer is not a thought. It is not a feeling. It is not a story. It is the space in which all thoughts, feelings, and stories appear. It is the silent, unmoving, and indestructible awareness of the machine. It is the part of you that is hearing these words right now. Your liberation from overthinking is not about changing your thoughts. It is about changing your identification. You are not the prisoner. You are not the prison. You are the vast, open, peaceful sky. And the storm of overthinking is just a small, temporary weather pattern passing through. This is the practice. From this day forward, when the primal alarm fires, you will acknowledge it. When the architect begins its story, you will label it. When you feel lost in the storm, you will anchor to the present moment. And when the thoughts pull at you, demanding your belief, you will not engage. You will sit on the riverbank and simply watch. This will feel strange at first. It will feel like you are not fixing the problem. Be patient. You are doing the only thing that works. You are starving the machine of its only fuel, your belief. The old loops will appear. The primal alarm will ring. The architect will shout. This is the habit of a lifetime. But now, they no longer have power. They are just noise. The desperate, fading echoes of a machine that has been left unattended. You are no longer identified with the mechanism. You are no longer trapped in the blueprint. You are the awareness. You are the stillness. You are the one who is watching.